The concept of balance and excess potential plays such an important role in our lives, be it in our work, in our relationships, or when it comes to our health. So, managing excess potential and being aware of when you're creating excess potential in your system, in your energy, is so important to attracting the things you want and to creating the life you desire. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what excess potential is, how we become aware of it, and how to manage it to attract the things we want, to create the reality we desire. Let's get into it. Hi there, welcome back to the channel. I'm Haben. On this channel we talk about self-development, spirituality, and creating the reality that you want. Today's video is about excess potential. This is a very unique topic. This is something that I have just started using and understanding just recently, and something I'm noticing that it is changing my life and how I interact with the reality that I am creating, and how I just manage my thoughts and my feelings and my actions. So, before going any further, I want to take a step back and talk about balance and what excess potential means before I get into how to manage it and how to use it to attract what you want. So everything in our universe is always striving towards a state of balance, a state of equilibrium. And that could be in terms of the oceans, it could be the temperature of our atmosphere, it could be the way the wind blows, and a lot of things in nature. We notice that balance is a state that is sought by everything around us. Even in our bodies always go to a state of equilibrium, a state of homeostasis. So that state of balance is always something we come back to in the world of science and exploring our universe, our physical universe. That state of balance is also applicable when it comes to our thoughts, our energy, and our actions. So, thoughts and actions affect the energy that we have and the energy we're releasing into the universe. Thoughts are energy. It's things we think are energy, and they have power within them. And if you have explored anything into the law of attraction and our physical system, you know that our bodies, when it comes to their basic core, their energy, their invisible energy. So they're affected with the energy of our thoughts, and we release this energy from our body, and our mind, and that energy goes out into our environment and affects what is coming back to us. So linking this back with the concept of balance, our thoughts and actions affect the balance of our energy system. So, coming back to the physical example, let's say you are holding a ball that was on the ground. You're creating, when you hold it right here, you're creating potential energy because it was an imbalance, at a state of balance when it was on the ground, but holding it up at a certain height creates what is called some sort of potential energy. And there will be a balancing force, in this case gravity, that will restore that and the balance, shift of balance. So when you release it, the ball goes down to the ground. So that's a very simple example of how our energy wants to return to a state of balance. So in terms of our energy, in terms of our thoughts and our actions, we create a state of imbalance when we give excess importance, too much importance to a certain item, a certain object. And this is what I call excess potential. Excess potential is created when we're giving too much importance to someone, to something, to an event. And this will create a certain imbalance in our energy system. And as I just said, our thoughts are energy, and our actions are also another form of energy. And through our thoughts and actions, we can alter the energy system and the balance of our energy system. And if we're putting so much mental energy, so much importance into something that doesn't really warrant it, then we're creating excess potential there. And there will be forces, what is called balancing forces, that will come to counteract that imbalance and to return it to balance. The catch here is those balancing forces are usually what creates problems in our lives. So let me give you an example, because this concept of excess potential and importance and balance is very hard to explain with words, but once you see it in your lives, I guarantee you recognize it. You will see things you've done before, the ways you've thought and acted before that has created things that you probably did not desire in your lives. So let me give you one example. A lot of people, especially with the hustle culture around us right now, we obsess about our work. We want to, the work is the biggest part of our lives. A lot of us put so much importance on work, and we believe that working so many hours and putting so much effort and heart in it will create the results that we want. And I'm not saying some work is not necessary and important, because some work and increase in effort could be the difference between success and failure. But obsessing with it and putting extreme amounts of importance into work creates an imbalance, and you're creating excess potential. So, as usual, balancing forces are going to come in to restore that balance. So, let's say balancing forces come in to make you sick, so that you cannot work anymore, so that you realize it wasn't that important. You realize that you are important, your health is important. Or you might get into a state of depression because you're so hard on yourself and you're criticizing yourself and comparing yourself with what other people are doing, whether you're working hard enough or not. And eventually you might well get into a state of depression and sadness because you cannot sustain it. And that is also balancing forces creating that upon you to restore balance. Another thing that usually happens is people get burned out. People cannot work anymore. They get in a state of chronic tiredness where they cannot function, they cannot work, they cannot even get up in the morning to do the things they have to do. So we're creating such a big excess potential by making work the solely most important thing in our lives and almost ignoring the rest of our environment and our lives. And that the balancing forces are going to come in and make sure that balance is restored. Another common example where we create excess potential and thus invite balancing forces to come into our lives is relationships. And I've been a victim of this. A lot of people I know have been a victim of this. When we are starting to like someone, we put them on a pedestal and we put so much importance on that relationship that's just starting, and then we create problems because we're inviting balancing forces. We're creating an imbalance by putting so much importance on that person and so much importance on that relationship that is just starting. And then we create what is called balancing forces, and they come and the person realizes our neediness, our attachment, and then they start to draw away, or something happens in the relationship where we cannot pursue it anymore, or it becomes something that we cannot bring into our lives with ease. A lot of it's experiences when we're starting to talk to someone and we put them on such a pedestal that it almost doesn't feel normal to date this person. And so the universe just complies. We cannot date that person if we think they're on a pedestal or we're putting so much importance upon them. That is not warranted. Because on an energy level, every person, everything is the same. It doesn't have no one thing has more importance than another. So by creating this importance, just using our mental energy is creating imbalance. And balancing forces are going to come to restore that balance. Whether that means making sure that relationship does not happen, or creating something to draw the two of you apart. The last example I want to give you is about excessive complaining. All of our lives have positive and negative aspects, and when we focus too much on the negative aspect, and when we just put so much importance on the things that are not going right in our lives. We put this importance and excess potential into play. So we see balancing forces come into play once again and wreak havoc in our lives. Because most of the time what you'll see is when you're creating excess potential, when you're putting too much importance on something and balancing forces are invited into your life, the results they're going to bring will be the complete opposite of what you were intending for in the first place. If you're complaining for hopes that, I'm complaining, I hate this, so that my reality changes, the balancing forces are going to come and attract and create more problems into your life so that you tone it down. And the same case applies when you're putting someone on a pedestal. Balancing forces are going to come in and they're going to act in the opposite way because you want that relationship to work so bad. But most probably balancing forces are going to come in and wreak havoc in that relationship. And in any case you put excessive importance in, you'll see the same trend happening again and again and again. And I guarantee you can look back into your life where things did not work out, where you really wanted them to work out, and see how you created that excess potential. So what do? What we do is simple. What you do is become aware of when you're putting too much importance in something. And you can feel it in your body whenever you're doing this. You feel tight, you feel like almost jittery when you're putting so much importance in something and you really want it to go a certain way. So what I recommend is taking a step back whenever you see that you're putting too much importance into something and detaching from the outcome. Having a desire is cool, but having a certain sense of detachment from the outcome, detachment from whatever happens. So something I like to say is, and something that would really make this concept work for you, is take care without worrying. Make sure the work that you're doing is up to the standards that are required, and make sure you're putting in the right amount of attention. But don't be attached to the outcome, because when you're putting so much of your heart and your expectations and you're putting such importance on it going the way you want it to go, you're creating excess potential and you're going to attract balancing forces that are going to create havoc in your life, in that part where you're creating too much importance. So take a step back, see that you're putting too much importance there, and detach from the outcome. Detach, create distance between yourself and the outcome. And this will help you release that excess potential and smoothly sail to the reality that you desire. So whether that is in a relationship, when you're noticing yourself putting someone on a pedestal, take a step back and realize that you're putting too much importance on them and on their relationship, and let that go. Let the relationship be whatever it is, and realize that the relationship will happen for you if it's meant for you. And that will allow the relationship to burgeon into what you want it to be. And this is counterintuitive because we are always told, put so much desire into things you want and want things so bad. But that is literally the opposite of what you should do to actually attract the reality you want. Because you don't want to create excess potential and then invite balancing forces into your life. So let me recap. Excess potential is created when we put too much importance into something, into an item, into a relationship, an event, or a person. And balancing forces will be invited into our lives whenever we create excess potential to restore balance, because everything is in equilibrium. Every piece of energy, every piece of nature is in equilibrium if you look at it. And that state of balance will be restored with the use of balancing forces. But balancing forces usually create undesired results in your lives. So the key here is being aware of when you're putting too much importance into whatever it is that you're trying to create. and taking a step back and detaching from the outcome and relaxing and letting go. And then the excess potential will dissipate and the reality that you want to create will come to you with much more ease. That's it for today, guys. Let me know if you have experienced this. I guarantee you have experienced this at least a few times over the past couple years, when you created an excess potential in your life and you saw the repercussions in terms of results that you did not want, and what you do to not create this excess potential. And as always, if you want more self-development, spirituality, law of attraction content about creating your own reality and designing the life you want by using the laws of the universe, make sure to subscribe down below, hit the notification button so that you get notifications whenever I post a new video. And comment down below if there's any topic that you want me to explore in this sphere, and I just might make a video on it. Thank you. Have a good one. Much love.